Hey guys, I wanted to go ahead and give you some instructions for the Ecology scavenger hunt that you're going to be doing. So at this point, we've learned about a lot of different terms from ecology, and so I want you guys to be able to go and kind of look in your backyards and find some of these items and examples that you could see in your own backyard. We'll get to the PowerPoint in just a second. Here is the instructions. You're going to create a PowerPoint or a slideshow displaying pictures of ecological concepts that you observe around your home and neighborhood. So hopefully, wherever you live, you have the ability to go outside and walk around the sidewalk and just look for. One second, sorry. Addie, I'm not going to. I'm right here. I need you to be quiet. Sorry. um, so you're going to use camera. I use my iPhone, whatever you need, to collect pictures of these concepts that we've already studied in our unit. I want you to be in the picture. So I have an example of my slideshow. Sometimes it was hard to get both me and the concept in the picture, but I just kind of need evidence that you were there. Two reasons: I miss your face and I miss seeing you guys, and that will be fun for me to grade when I get to see all you guys. And also, we need to make sure that these aren't just pulled from the internet. So again, make sure you can somehow prove that you were there. And I want it to be your face, not just like a foot or something. Only one picture can be used for each ecological concept. So you can't see like abiotic factor would be something that's non-living. So you can't take a picture of 15 different non-living things and label them all abiotic factors. And you can't take the same picture and call it a bunch of different things either. So all different pictures, all different concepts. You need to find at least 15. So I think this list has altogether has about 25 things. You need to pick 15 of these to display. If you find extra ones or you find something unique that you think would apply to the ecology unit, please add to it. But just make sure that you're finding things that pertain to ecology. So here are some examples: abiotic factor, biotic factor. Remember, that's a non-living thing and a living thing. An autotroph, anything capable of making its own food through photosynthesis. Heterotroph, something that is not capable of making its own food. So this could be something outside, or you could even pick like a person for that. Producer, again, something that is a base of a food chain capable of making its own food. Autotroph and producer, again, are very similar terms, but you can't use the same picture. Primary consumer would be an herbivore of some sorts. It doesn't have to go be like a big, giraffe as an herbivore. It could be something small that would eat plants that you might find in and around your home. Secondary consumer, something that eats another animal, pretty low on the food chain. And then a tertiary consumer would be an animal that eats an animal that eats a plant. An omnivore would eat both plants and animals. Decomposer would be an example of like a mushroom. So if you find any mushrooms around your home or any fungus that you are aware of, like outside. Parasitism, an example of parasitism might be kind of hard to come by because it's usually like internal parasites, but I don't know if you can think of anything. Mutualism is a relationship that benefits both. A classic example of mutualism is humans and dogs. And so I'd love to see pictures of you and your animals together mutually benefiting from your relationship. I suppose if you have a bad relationship with your animal, you could try and classify it as parasitism. Or maybe if you just have the dog that like never acknowledges you, or like maybe a cat. Commensalism could be more appropriate, where one gets something out of it and the other one does not. One benefits and one doesn't. Predator and prey, if you can find an example of a predator eating prey, then you could put that all in one. But the predator and prey you could do separately. So identifying something that would be a predator and then identifying something that would probably get eaten, like a bug or something. An invasive species, something that's invasive to Florida. If I were you, I'd look up invasive plants in Florida because there's a lot of invasive plants that people have in their yard. I found one in my neighborhood that I'll show you in my PowerPoint. Also, geese, Canadian geese are from Canada. They're invasive, and so if you can find a goose and take a picture near a goose, that's an invasive species. Native species, anything that's just been in Florida. You could do a native plant species or you could do a native animal species. And then like a habitat or something that where an animal would live. Kind of be creative there. Other things miscellaneous. I just thought these could be kind of fun to add and maybe help you find 15 items. A pollinator, pretty sunset, body of water, something purple outside. So not just something purple in your home. You can find animal tracks. That's pretty cool. An exoskeleton or an animal skull. An animal home or a bird's nest, and a pine cone or any type of seed, acorn, things like that. After you find your 15 photos or your 15 items, you can take multiple photos of each item. But after you find your 15 items, you put them in a PowerPoint and just one item or concept per slide. So you should have about 15 slides, or 16 considering you'll have a title slide. And then each photo should have the item name and concept on it. So I'm going to show you my example. Me and Addie went on a walk tonight while Ansley was sleeping. So I just have my title slide, Ecology Scavenger Hunt, Miss Jacobs example. First thing we saw in my front yard was a big oak tree, and it has some lichen and moss growing and little ferns growing on it. This is an example of commensalism because the tree is unaffected and the lichen and moss get access to nutrients and light. When we were walking, we saw this bug getting eaten by ants, which was kind of sad. It looked like a grasshopper getting eaten by ants. And so you can see this is one that I wanted to zoom in on, and I was not in the picture, so I took another picture where you can see the ants and the grasshopper on the ground, and me and Addie are in it. But you don't necessarily have to be in every picture, but you need to be able to prove that you were there. Here is an invasive species called an apple snail. For the longest time, I had seen these growing by our pond, and I had no idea what they were because they're crazy looking. And I actually asked a Facebook biology group, like, what on earth are these things? And apparently they are like these little cocoons that or they like eggs that the snails lay. And then that makes sense because we see like tons of snails in our pond. So you can see over here, this is a picture of my pond where there were snails. This picture I pulled off the internet so you guys could get a better view of it, but you can see that's an invasive species. And then a nest or a habitat, you could do like this also could fall under like animal home. We found a cocoon in our yard, and you can see Addie was a little freaked out about it because I told her that caterpillars go in and butterflies go out, and she's a little freaked out by bugs still. So she was not super sure about holding on to that thing. But yeah, there would be a cocoon that a butterfly would come from. So I didn't do all 15 items, but these are just some that I found on my walk tonight. Obviously, I could have taken a picture of a plant and called it an autotroph. I could have taken a picture of, a person and said it's an omnivore, or an animal and said, that different depending on what type of animal, that could have been a primary, secondary, tertiary consumer or herbivore. So I also did take some more pictures. There was like a pretty sunset and stuff, but I figured you guys kind of understood by the time I got to slide 5. But anyway, this is just an example of what you guys will be doing. This is due Friday, and I'm excited to see the pictures you guys come up with. Message me with any questions that you have. If you can't find things, we can kind of brainstorm ways for you to be able to complete the assignment. But I'm looking forward to seeing your pictures and your slideshows, and feel free to jazz up the slideshow and add clip art and make it cute. This was just the bare minimum of what I expect from you guys. And again, make sure yours has 15 items, not just the 4 items that I showed you guys.